like that could happen. So back to me and where I was in such a place of being so down, so overwhelmed. The cloud, the water was too high. Like when I thought about my kids, of course, when I went to church, I was so grateful for that. My pastor, my bishop, so grateful for her, Bishop O'Neill. Also, the two other people, Theo, dude, you know you're my dude, man. Theo came and checked up on me. I never forget him. Theo still checks up on me. I love you too, dude. And there was like one or two other people that just stopped by, and I don't even know if they realize it. Also, Kevin, man, I never forget you that day and that trip we made, dude. That was huge for me. I won't ever forget that, just so you know. That was at a time where the lights were off. I think the business I had already had to let the business go, and I didn't have enough money to pay for the lights, and I hadn't seen my kids for a little while, so obviously I was in a really low place. And I think the place I was renting in, I had gotten, well, I didn't get kicked out. I know I didn't have a rent, so I moved my stuff into storage and moved my stuff into the building I was staying in, and the building I had purchased for the practice. So because the practice wasn't going on, I might as well move in there and make that be my place to stay. So yeah, so I was staying there, and Kevin Behrman came and checked on me. Theo always checked on me, man. So it's amazing how those people will come in at different times. They don't necessarily have to be in your life forever, but they can be those people that trigger that thought and that idea that I can make it out of this. It's not as down, or I'm not as down as I think I am. It's not as hopeless as I think it. That's another one was for that hopelessness. I didn't want to feel hopeless anymore. I didn't want to die anymore, which was grateful. But I just remember that sensation of this. The question, why is anything worth it? Why am I continuing? And then to be able to answer it, well, one, because Irmo, I got to get up and work out with you in the morning. And two, I got to get ready for the girls about to come over. So those are two things that were very paramount and essential in me looking through the fog and considering what I needed to pull the rest of myself out. I kid you not, it was almost like an out-of-body experience in that sense of the depression was so overwhelming that there would be times that I was like, man, I haven't done nothing all weekend. Because like weekends I didn't have my kids. I could do something. And I wasn't doing nothing. And I was like, man, what is going on? Like, why would I want to do nothing? And I just thought I didn't want to do nothing because I wasn't working out every weekend. I work out some weekends, and I would just be down and just cry. Because I thought just crying because I missed my daughters, whatever, that sadness, whatever, just being in a low place. And I was very grateful that my brother came and stayed with me. Dean Cole. Man, I love you, bro, too. Like God sent him along my path, my journey, because he was like, he was telling me you depressed. I'm like, yeah, man, I know. Some of the behaviors I was exhibiting, that's another sign of depression. When you doing stuff that's detrimental to yourself that you don't normally do, like you think about doing stuff and you are doing things that you didn't normally do, those are signs of depression. Where you're doing stuff that's harmful or careless. Careless and harmful things that you've never done before, and now all of a sudden you're doing it as a result of what's happening. And see, something that I had to realize is, and even though I knew it, but when you go through a divorce, you're mourning the loss of something. It's just like a death. I was mourning the death of the marriage that I had hoped to have, or the marriage that I was a part of. So because I didn't realize it, one of the symptoms of depression is denial. I was trying to deny it. No, Tom, you ain't sad, you ain't depressed. You all right, you tumble. You always happy. I'm like, huh? And that's when I learned the difference between happiness and joy and fulfillment. Happiness is very circumstantial, but I remember laughing and crying at the same time. So that's how I knew I was depressed because I would be laughing at something or thinking I should be laughing and happy and feeling a sense of heaviness on my chest and sadness and almost sickness to my stomach because I didn't want to be laughing because I felt like I didn't not to say deserve it, but that was, is this really, huh? Is it worth it? So just going through that sense of pain, just going through that cycle and that process was very difficult for me because I'm supposed to be woo-woo, you know? I'm supposed to be this, whatever. Whatever these ideas we come up with in our head of who we are supposed to be, who we are. And I was just like, man. I was like, I know I'm not supposed to be like this. I said, this has to stop in some way. I need to get out of here. And so when I had those times when I was working out, I started feeling better. And then guess what I started? I started seeing results. And that's what I love about working out. That's why I tell people to this day, get that set in. You get your set in today, you know. All right, let's go. Because you are able to get instant gratification. Just with the fact that you get fatigued. Muscle fatigue for me was a sign that I was working hard. And it's funny, but you may not believe, but I love being sore the next 2-3 days because I went and did some crazy in the weight room I hadn't done in years. I was like, man, I'm back in here, I had doing, and it gave me hope because I was able to see there was progress. That type of success in the physical gave me motivation to work on myself internally. And it gave me motivation to keep building myself up, build up my faith, build up my muscles to be a father. Because just because I couldn't be a husband anymore, don't mean I couldn't be a father anymore. So now I'm rearranging my life to figure out what does it mean to be single? What in the world? Just if y'all don't know, it's hard out here in these streets. Listen to me, you know. Man, so that was another thing too. I was with one person 15 years, you know, so I'm like, oh my God, what? So I had to try to deal with that. And dating somebody, being out there with somebody was scary and overwhelming, all these type of things. And what I do is, I'm thinking I do want to talk about that. It's starting to date again. Starting to put yourself out there again. When you're a man I want to say this the right way because I don't want to make it seem grandiose or uppity. So I'm like, no. Let me put it this way. When part of your everyday wasn't being single, like going out there trying to find somebody, dating somebody, and now you have to change your mindset to be single now, that's difficult and it can be overwhelming, especially with the advent of online dating, social media. All this happened while I was, married. And so I was like, oh, this what people do now? So all of that stuff was like, man, I'm staying in the house. I ain't doing nothing. Or I'm on all day trying to find somebody, you know. So I had to find that balance within myself. But to go back to that strength and that motivation to even try was gathered from the success I would get when I was able to power clean again, when I was able to push press, when I was able to front squat, when I was able to snatch and clean, when I was able to deadlift. I'm out there killing it. I'm out there. Well, tell me you ain't committing suicide, but you at least kill yourself in the weight room. So, you know, that's something that I made sense of it. Like, I would make light of it. And that's how I could tell I was turning to, because those kind of internal jokes are strategies that I learned as a youth dealing with hurt. And I'm going to talk about that too later. I was reminded by of a friend, and I'm planning on writing a book too. So y'all hold me to it. Comment, tell me don't forget to write that book. But it's a book about learning to love yourself. Because that's something I had to do through this whole process. Like, I learned to love Toma. I fell in love with me. I got out of the depression. It was like as I was shedding pounds, as I was knocking them pounds off, I was getting strong, getting right. Because like I said, I was like 340, something like that. Oh man, I was so much bigger. I think I'm going to do another post and put up like my little picture that I had. A friend of mine helped me make. They sent it to me, and it was just a little app anyway. But anyway, that's where it was a side-by-side comparison, and you can see 2012, 2014, just in 2 years, how I had made that transformation, lost 50 pounds. So just going through that, losing that was like me losing the weight of the depression and the sadness and the loss, and saying, okay, tell me you're not married anymore. So what you gonna do with your life, bro?